Ready?
Yep.
Just watch your feet, the right tyres.
A few weeks ago I found one of my dream cars abandoned outside an industrial unit. It had been there for 30 years and things weren't looking good, but it used to look like this. I knew I had to have it and try and bring it back to its former glory, but that would be easier said than done. The years of being abandoned had really taken its toll. The engine was seized solid, but we managed to get it running. And then we got it driving. Then we 3D scanned the whole car in hopes to recreate some of the missing body panels. But then the bad news came. The engine had to come out because we lost almost all compression. And then found internal damage to the bores. While I was figuring out those problems, I started sanding down the car. 40 years of paint. It was crazy. But in doing that, I also found more rust. And a lot of it. I don't have any fancy equipment, so I decided I'd get the car up on its side so I could give the underside a proper inspection. And it wasn't good. It was clear at this point the body had to come off, which is a big job. But if this car is ever going to be safe, it's something we have to do. Though we all know what we're going to find underneath that body is likely worse than any of the rust we've seen so far. So this should be interesting. Okay, so the day is finally upon us. We need to take the body off the chassis. That's the only way we can truly know the extent of the rust and repair it properly. But taking the body off the chassis is easier said than done. There are many very rusty seized on bolts, but I've got a special tool for that. The angle grinder made pretty quick work of those seized coach bolts, but that was only the start. Remember, this thing was built in the 1970s, when expanding foam and screwed up pieces of newspaper were pretty commonplace in holding a car together. And with almost all of the coach bolts out, the body and the chassis were still firmly one piece. So, what wonders were holding this thing together? And whilst I was chopping off the bolts, my friend Steve was undoing the steering column. Now, in theory, everything bolted together was free. But then we found the first layer of magic sauce holding this car to the chassis, about 1 million tons of mastic. So, the easiest thing to do was go around the whole edge with a multi-tool, just trying to cut through it and separate them. Like with most jobs on cars, this might look quick, but it took about 2 hours to separate the majority of the mastic. And by the end of it, I was vibrating, and not in a fun way. But after all of that, the body was starting to come away from the chassis. Finally.
Yeah. Let's get. This is going to move.
The next thing to do was slowly ease them apart. There's no technical way of doing this, unless you do what Steve's doing.
We found these 2 more bolts. Oh.
But now, that should be it. I hope. And after removing the health and safety approved support struts, it was time to start wiggling. And little by little, the body was coming away from the chassis. With the occasional help from a hammer, as always. We quickly realised it would be much easier to take this body off having the car back on its wheels, But we also quickly realised we were not strong enough to lift it down. So we came up with a very safe and high-tech solution. Easy now? Easy? Wow, I was worried it was going to drop for a minute. Oh, cock. But the slight fall did seem to help with the glue. It was definitely free now. And then there was two. So there we have it, the Nova body and the chassis are now separate. And I mean, overall, it was quite a seamless process. We haven't incurred any damage on the Nova body, which is amazing. Luckily, cutting the underside of the front nose portion and the sills did allow us just to lift it off without cutting away the bumper and the side skirts, all that sort of thing. So we have a fully intact body. It came away quite easily. Well, it wasn't easy as such. It did take over 3 hours, I think. Lots of bolts and then lots and lots of glue and mastic and all sorts of things, foam, holding it on. Very much a sort of thing of its time, the way it was bonded. No newspaper was found in there. Usually you find a bit of newspaper somehow sticking the car together, but not today, so quite highbrow. So the body is unscathed, but the chassis, well, that is a piece. I suppose there are a lot of good things to say about this, mainly that the way it's constructed is it's very repairable. I've already gone ahead and ordered new floor pans and a new front head. Basically this chassis, the main strength portion is this back area, the beam that runs along the middle, and then the rest of it is very replaceable. Floor pans, you drop them in, and the head, you weld that on. You've got to make sure you get it straight, otherwise you'll be driving in the wrong direction. But then this chassis will be fine again. The only slight complexity is this floor pan isn't completely standard, it is lowered. So it's not just like you can get a floor pan, drop it in, and it's exactly the same. This is a few inches lower because of the Nova's height. So that will have to be taken into consideration and remade in its original keeping. So the next thing to do is cut this chassis up into its core sections so we can begin the repair. We'll cut the floor pans out today. We'll probably clean up the head section. We won't cut it off yet because keeping it mobile is quite useful. The final goal of today's episode is to be left with the chassis just with the good solid metal. So we're going to remove all the bad, and whatever we're left with is what we're building off. But before we do that, I just want to quickly say, please do consider subscribing. Looking at my viewing figures, only 30% of you who watch my episodes are actually subscribed, so there's 70% of you right now who aren't subscribed. We've got so much fun to come on this channel, so please do consider subscribing down below. This is just the start. We've got another crazy car coming, I think next week. It's going to get wild. Anyway, let's cut up this chassis. If you're anything like me, you love your cars a lot. Whether it's your project car or your daily driver, taking care of them and keeping them safe is paramount. The absolute worst thing is to spend months working on a car or taking care of a car you love, getting into an accident, and then not having the evidence to back up what actually happened. But with the help of today's sponsors, VFO, you will never have to worry about that again. They've kindly sent over the A329T. This is the main unit and it's incredibly sleek, and as you can see the image quality is insane, made possible by the newest Sony Starvis 2 image sensor. And here is the rear view camera, which equally has amazing footage. Finally, here is the telephoto camera. This thing is amazing. It can really get crisp detail even from really, really long distances, which when it comes to claim, if you ever need to, that extra detail really does go a long way. VFO include a bunch of additional bits like hardwire kits and also direct to dash kits, and it's great because they always have easy to follow instructions. Installing this thing is super easy. Just clean where you want it to go, undo the sticky pad, put it on, and then the wires just plug in. In my case, I'm using the handy tool just to tuck away the wiring behind my headliner, and then it's gone. And when it comes to the additional cameras, whether it's your rear view or the telephoto, again, you just follow exactly the same steps. You just plug it into the main unit and you're away. The main unit supports 4K and the other supporting units are both 2K. And once you've got it all hooked up, you just go on the app, connect to the unit's inbuilt Wi-Fi, and you're away. The advanced imaging system delivers stunningly clear, detailed footage at both day and night. And that paired with up to 4 times optical zoom gives you all you need. The VFO system also shoots multiplex video, meaning there's no editing and you can share it instantly. Unlike other dash cams, the VFO units use an incredibly low amount of energy, meaning you can keep it running all day long without having to worry about your battery draining. Along with that, it has external SSD functionality, so you don't have to worry about running out of storage. But probably my favourite feature is the hybrid parking recording, which ensures you pick up every detail of footage when you're in those tight spots. So please do go and check out VFO. I've left their link down below in the description. They really do make fantastic products. And remember, sponsorships make episodes like this possible. So a huge thank you to VFO. Please go give them some love. After taking a few measurements and markers so this thing goes back together somewhat the same, it was time just to attack it. Admittedly, the attack was a little bit cautious at first. I didn't want to snap the whole thing in half. But even with the dustpan and brush, I was making holes, which isn't a great sign, but it could be worse. But here's the plan. I basically need to cut along this seam, leaving the top bit. That'll allow me to put the new floors on top, spot weld them in, and have a floor again. Because, yeah, that's not really a floor, is it? It was time to say goodbye to the layers and layers of old rusty floor. So, it was time to call on Old Reliable. I was just about to start cutting, now it's raining. There might not be a chassis left after this storm. And just like that, the floor was gone. As you saw, I cut the floor up in sections to make it a little bit more manageable. I also left a lot of excess so I could much more carefully remove the floor close to the tunnel, as there is a small lip that we need to retain, which our new floor sits on. Now I'd got all the excess away, I was just chiselling away to try and get the last bit of the floor pan off, exposing the lip where our new floor pans will sit. Now this is quite a tense moment because if this piece is gone, then we've got a lot more work ahead of us. But if it's good, our new floor sections should just sit on it fine. And thankfully, it looks pretty strong. And after lots of cutting, trimming, hammering, chiselling, we were left with the lip we needed, and amazingly it was in really good condition. But we were only halfway there. It was now time to tackle the other side, which was always the rustier portion, if you can believe it. So, let's see what's left. The floor was coming away nicely. There's a few bits I need to remove like the pedals, but I'll tackle that next week. You'll probably see it in a 10-second segment. But today I just wanted to get rid of the majority of the rust. And weird things like this. That is a lot of mastic. Miraculously, the lip on the driver's side was just as good. We had a proper solid surface to mount the new floors on, and the chassis was back down to its bare bones. Now, there was one more thing I wanted to investigate, and that was the rust on the frame head. I wanted to cut it back and see just how bad it was. Now, there's holes showing on the outside, and these usually rust from the inside out, but how bad actually was it? There's a neat little inspection panel right at the front, so let's take a look. I mean, other than quite a lot of snails, it looks remarkably good. But let's hit it with a wire wheel and see what's left. Now, even though we had some pretty gnarly rust holes, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought the wire wheel would open up a lot more, but overall, it's not horrendous. Now, you could patch this up, but this is a core component. This is where our front suspension mounts to. We don't really want to be messing around with that. So, a replacement it is. It has been a big day. The chassis down to its rawest form and relatively rust-free. This is a big deal. Right now we're probably at the deepest point of the build. It's one thing cutting your way to this point, but it's another thing climbing back out to having a perfect car. And the hardest parts of this build are ahead of us. It's an endurance race. Okay, so there we go. After quite a lot of deliberation in last week's episode, today we've made a lot of progress. The body is completely separate from the chassis, and now the chassis is in its rawest form and is largely good metal. We've chopped out all of the rust and grime apart from the head section, and it looks like quite a solid base. As I look at it, it does look like a toothpick as well, but it's progress, I promise. So what is next for the Nova build? Well, it is all to do with the chassis. In the next episode on the Nova, we are going to put new floors in this thing. We're going to chop the head section off, replace the head section. This is the beautiful thing, you can buy all of these parts. So in theory, then we'll be left with a completely solid chassis. Obviously, before putting those new parts in, I'll completely get the rest of it down to bare metal and just make it nice, so we can then put lovely new metal in and it just all be nice, shiny, good, new. And then we've basically got a good chassis. So that'll be a very exciting episode. It's not that simple because the floors also have to be lowered. The head section is quite a precise thing. If you put it on wrong, then your car will drive in the wrong direction. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. And ultimately, by the end of it, we'll have a perfect base to build our Nova on. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so overwhelmed with all the support on this build. Please do remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell icon, all of that sort of thing. It really does help me out. It makes the algorithm like me, shows more people these videos, and we can keep doing crazy stuff. If you'd like to support the channel further, my Patreon is linked down below. Over on the Patreon, I have behind the scenes access, sort of day-to-day updates on what I'm doing, and early access on the silly cars that I'm buying. Another great way to support the channel is merchandise. I've linked the merch store down below with a bunch of different colors, Nova themed merch and themed merch for the other builds on the channel. They're really high quality, I really mean that, and they look really cool, I think. So please do consider going and getting one. Any money made just goes into fixing Novas and rust and all that fun. But regardless, I'm just so grateful that you're here watching. So until next week, take care, and I will see you then.